There's a mint condition Topps Walter Payton rookie trading card selling on eBay for $59,500. A 1984-85 Michael Jordan rookie Fleer trading card sold in 2016 for $40,000. Today, it's said to be twice that amount. A little out of your league? How about a signed Ron Santo baseball? It only cost you a little over $1,100. It's just stuff. Stuff valued at more than you could have ever imagined you would own as a kid. For many of you, it's stuff your mom threw out.
And welcome into the second edition of Stuff Your Mother Threw Out. It's brought to you by AU Sports on Dempster in Morton Grove. You want to tell the address? Since you
don't know the address unless it's written down in front of you.
No, it's 6006. I knew it had all the numbers that the devil is involved with.
Yeah, except it's missing a third six and there are no zeros.
No, it's a 66?
Well,
666?
666?
Yes. Are you the devil?
We're going to find out. The show's just starting.
I've known you long enough. I think you are. Anyway, it's located in Morton Grove. I am David Schuster, and sitting alongside me, and he is the owner and operator. I think he's got a crush on me because he's inching closer to me as we speak.
I've been going out with this older woman. I told her to act her age, and she died.
This is Mr. Scott Beatty. The number, by the way, your phone number at the store, I do know that, 847-647-8311. Is that right?
Is that you who's been calling?
It is.
Leaving those messages?
Well, it's always busy.
I got an answering machine for my phone. Now when I'm not home and someone calls me up, they hear a recording of a busy signal.
So let me ask you real quickly.
Puts the ball back in my court. No.
So let me ask you, have you been getting a lot more, notice since our first edition? Is your black book expanding because of all the groupies that listened to the first one? We had a lot of people who listened to the first shot here.
Yeah, sports memorabilia groupies. Is this something I haven't heard of yet? Because if not, I need to write this down. I need to pick out the perfect website. Is sportsmemorabiliagroupies.com taken?
All right, well, you tell me. I mean, you're always surfing the damn internet when I come into the store.
You and I, but I'm not looking up sports stuff. That's all I'm willing to say.
I know you're not. You know, it's funny because the porn industry and sports, they do have something in common. No, we're not editing this out.
No. I want you to time it. How long did it take him to mention porn?
Well, it doesn't take me long at all.
It doesn't take him long, ever.
No, ever. That's correct.
Learned a lot from porn. It's not like physically. My MO is I kind of just lay there. Like, I'm a bottom, I'm not a dead fish. I hate when guys call me that. I think that's rude.
Anyway, they do have something in common. Statistics. Numbers, right?
Length.
I
don't know.
Right.
Is that what you're going
for? Circumference.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
He was my favorite Knight of the Round Table circumference.
That's good. You're a stand-up comedian. Anyway, come on, be serious with me if that's possible. What kind of feedback did you get after our first podcast?
So I automatically put the ones aside that said Lou Schuster because I feel like I owe you something. But other than that, it's been really positive feedback, and the people I've actually been looking for.
Not your mother. I don't want the positive feedback from your mother.
Well, no, she didn't give me any, so don't even. Friends of mine have all really been very supportive of it. They think that you and I have good chemistry. Whatever. And I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. People talking about it. People sending me some emails, which is nice.
Okay, that's good.
And so we're starting from the ground up, man. But we're having a good time doing it.
100%. All right, so there's so many things that we're going to get to. You brought some more goodies I can see in the background.
No cookies, though.
No cookies. Let's see. Are there any one hitters? No. Just you brought some goodies with you. We're going to get to those in just a moment.
Porn, drugs. Wow.
Hey,
what have I wandered
again?
into?
You think we can talk 60 minutes on sports memorabilia?
No, you're
There's
right.
very little chance of that. You told me when we decided to come up with this, we're going to go off into all these different tangents.
Oh, that's just because my mind has so many rooms and compartments that haven't been entered in years.
Yeah,
so.
It's the only thing fertile about you. And it is so, it's funny, Aldo. He goes, "Don't worry, Schuster, you'll be the straight guy, and I'll be the one to throw the insult." And I said, "No effing way."
You know what? All right. Fine.
Did I shut you up?
I'll give you your moment of glory.
Okay, I shut you up for at least.
You're going to record this and play it over and over on a loop tape while you cry in the shower.
I don't cry in the shower. I might do other things in the shower. I don't cry in the shower. Wow. All right. Anyway.
Oh, man.
This might be award-winning yet. Anyway, one of the things you wanted to talk about this week were icons in sports. Icons as far as sports memorabilia and what, and obviously you can think about a half a dozen super quick come to mind. Michael Jordan,
sure.
Wayne Gretzky, Mickey Mantle. Is Joe Namath one of those icons? Would he be?
He's probably second tier.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so who's on your Mount Rushmore tier of icons as far as sports memorabilia?
Really? It's Michael Jordan.
Right.
It's Muhammad Ali. It's
Tiger,
Mickey Mantle, Tiger Woods.
Okay,
it's kind of hard to shave it down to 4. There's a few other guys who aren't even as much of an icon. Let's say a Michael Jordan in his sport or a Wayne Gretzky in his sport, but they are highly collectible guys. Roberto Clemente and Sandy Koufax come to mind. Walter Payton comes to mind.
Well, it's interesting because I'm going to get to this later on in the show. I looked up this list of Hall of Famer on cards that you can get for under $5, and Clemente is one of them. I looked this up yesterday.
You can get what Clemente for under $5?
A card.
A card, yes.
It's not an autograph.
No, okay. No, I was about to, yeah.
Okay, but we'll get to that later on. Okay, it's really interesting because there's some really named players here. They're not autograph cards. We'll get to that later on that are under $5. Blew me away. Anyway, let me start with this. Dick Allen is going into the Philadelphia Phillies Hall of Fame. Okay, I hope someday he goes into the White Sox Hall of Fame. He was one of my favorite players.
I think he should go into the Salem Lights Hall of Fame, too.
The Salem Lights?
Yeah, I don't know what he smoked, but I think it's pretty...
Oh, you're talking about when he was smoking the cigarette, the old Sports Illustrated thing where he was juggling the baseballs and smoking?
I think he would have smoked on the field if they allowed him.
He was also big into horses for what it's worth. Can you juggle?
Can I juggle?
Yeah, just see
I'm juggling.
You're juggling this really.
I'm juggling this show in my real life,
and you're dropping the ball consistently. Okay, Dick Allen. Is his card worth anything more now that his name has been in the news lately?
No. Cards like that have pretty much a standard price. They will go up over the course of the years, but Dick Allen, his most expensive card is going to be his rookie card. That's generally
the universal for everybody?
Yeah, pretty much.
If you're good.
No, just anybody. But it's even for instance, you take a random guy.
B.B. Richard.
Who? B.B. Richard, the old Sox infielder?
Yes, number 9.
Oh, my God. What was his real name? Lee.
That's right, Lee Richard.
So B.B. Richard. His rookie card might be worth 50 cents. Every other card is worth a dime. So you should always get every rookie card there is, because in case somebody ends up being decent or more.
If
you value yourself as any sort of investor, but if you're just doing, I will always say, I'll say it at the first show, I'll say it again, collect if you love it. Don't really worry about what something's going to be worth if it's going to be fun for you. So, but yeah, rookie cards are always going to be the most valuable card.
Can I give you a broadcasting lesson real quickly?
Don't eat peanuts on the air?
Don't eat anything when you're on the air.
I don't listen to you.
It comes through.
You're not my mom. Stop.
It comes through. And you know what? Why don't you try eating ice cream and do this? That's the ultimate.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Your tongue will get stuck to the roof of your mouth.
Next week, I'm going to chew tobacco.
Spit it towards Aldo, not towards me.
Ahead. I put the peanuts away.
All right, I called you the other day because I was with a friend of mine, and she had, I don't know, what was it? Did I say it was a Glenn Beckert or something like that? No. And it was out of focus. I think it was Glenn Beckert, and the card
that's just a printing error.
Okay, but there are cards that have printing errors that are worth a lot of money.
Yeah, but they're not like that. That was just a bad press.
It was.
There's stuff called reverse negatives.
Reverse negatives.
So when they lay the
card... Is that in Matt Nagy's playbook?
Cordarrelle Patterson's going to be running that later this year. A reverse negative is actually, for instance, it could be a guy who batted right-handed, but when they laid the print down to print the cards out, they did it the other way, and he's batting left-handed. Some of those are worth more money than others.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I did look this up. I do my research on these things, by the way, in case anybody thought otherwise.
When he's done playing Fortnite and searching Pornhub, then he looks up real information. And he sometimes at the same time.
95% porn, about 5% to anything else. Anyway, there was a card, and maybe you've seen it. It had the wrong back from the front. It was Frank Thomas on the front. It was Dan Gladden on the back.
That one's probably less valuable because there's wrong back errors across the industry. There are some that are worth more. It's when you get up into a big player like
Frank Thomas is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but still, what you got to learn about it, and you'll learn over time about
the card industry.
What over the card industry is the fact that just because a guy's a Hall of Famer doesn't mean he's in super high demand or his cards are in super high value.
Right.
Now,
again, we're going to lead up to that.
Now
Towards
there
the
is a card that I actually have a copy of right now. It's a picture of Ray Allen on the front, and it's got LeBron James' James tag.
Stop eating those peanuts; they might be laced.
LeBron James. It's got his nameplate on the front. That's an error card.
Right.
Now that one would probably draw $40 to $60.
Okay.
But it's LeBron.
Right.
So that's kind of where it lays in, unless you find out through your research on, generally Beckett.com is a great place to look for this stuff. There are lots of errors, and there are also what they call uncorrected errors, which means that they made an error on the card, but the card company never changed it.
Okay.
So
why? Because
they
why?
just didn't want
the hell with it.
Yeah.
Cost too much money.
Probably.
Yeah,
especially when you're talking about a Donnie Hill error card. Oh, it said he had 38 RBIs instead of 37.
Okay. Would a card company, and I'm thinking here now, capitalistic here.
I can smell the smoke.
Is there a new pope? Can a card company on purpose make an error and make that card worth so much money that they can cash it in themselves?
A card company can do anything they want, obviously,
That's what I'm saying.
but they don't.
No?
No, you're asking me if they intentionally...
They would if I was working there.
Well, they've intentionally made, and I'm using air quotes, error cards, but that becomes a short print card that's in the regular set. It's kind of like a parallel of the real card. They don't do that on purpose. They intentionally... I mean, I should take that back. They intentionally do it for certain cards, more of late than, say, 30 years ago. The old errors were done by mistake. There's ones like this. 1969 Aurelio Rodriguez. Do you remember him?
Yeah, he was on the Tigers.
Third baseman for the Tigers, played for the Sox in '83.
Good glove, man.
His 1969 card isn't even a picture of him.
Who is it?
It's the Angels bat boy. And that was a mistake because the photographers would go to spring training. A lot of shots.
They don't. I've been there for the picture taking day. You don't know who some of these people are.
And
Absolutely.
some of these photographers don't even know
Of course
baseball.
not.
So they're you're who? Click.
Yeah, they come from the porn industry. They don't know what people look like with clothes on.
1985 Gary Pettis. 1985 card of
Angels.
The Angels outfielder is his younger brother. On purpose. I don't remember what year it was, but on purpose. Warren Spahn.
On purpose now.
And Johnny Sane.
Right.
Two great pitchers for the Milwaukee Braves. When the photographers showed up,
he screwed over the photographers by switching?
Spahn posed pitching right-handed and Sane posed pitching left-handed, and they were the other way around, and the cards came out.
Now, isn't that worth a lot more?
No, that's just more for fun than anything else, because that was the only card of them that came out.
I know, but it's
they
so
didn't
rare.
correct it. No. If they'd corrected the error somehow.
If they corrected the error.
Yeah. Because otherwise they're releasing, let's just use a number. Let's say they release, 100,000 cards of each player.
Right.
Now, if there's 100,000 cards of each player, that's it. He's just that's it.
Were there 100,000 of those, pitching the wrong way?
Oh yeah, because every single card in that print came out that way. But if Topps went, oops, we caught the error.
Okay, I
and
see.
all of a sudden there's only 20,000 of that and 80,000 corrected.
Okay, so those 20,000.
Now the error becomes worth more money.
Okay, now I saw this also. There were some cards that were blank on the back. Just literally blank.
Blank backs aren't uncommon because when they go through the printing process, they have to put ink on the back and the front. And blank backs are also sometimes used originally as promotional material. Here's what the new design looks like this year. Blank backs aren't terribly uncommon, and depending on the player, not worth that much more.
I just thought maybe it'd be like the inside of their head. It was blank. No?
I think you're talking about yourself again, or no?
Yes. Okay. All right. So
I don't know.
All right.
Hey, Aldo.
All right. One for Scott. He's trailing 9-1. All right. I'll give you one.
9-1. I'm about to Fernando Tatis and swing at 3-0 and break this game up, pal.
I'm going to start spitting tobacco at you for a second.
All right.
Why don't you go choke on some of those peanuts? All right. There was one card error. I can't believe this, and I don't even know what was wrong with it. There's a Tom Brady 2014, obviously, football card, and it's supposedly worth $35,000. It's some kind of error in it. What do you know about it?
I know that whoever buys it is crazy.
Beyond crazy.
You know, the price set on some of these cards, people will say, "Oh, it's the only one I've ever seen." Well, it doesn't mean it's the only one that exists. You know, how do you put a price of $35,000 on a 5-year-old card? That's up, but
6 years.
Yet.
Wait, where'd you learn your math? Did you go to Von Steuben too? Where did you go to school?
Where did I go to school? I went to school right in Chicago, Illinois. I went to Sullivan High School on
that
the north
explains
side.
Everything too.
Although I did go to Lane Tech for about a semester. I hated it. I'm sorry,
Did
Lane
you get
Tech
thrown out?
Lane Tech grads and alumni. I apologize. No, it's the fact that, listen, I went from a grade school that had a graduating class of probably 50, and I went into a place where my homeroom was 60.
Oh, yeah. Lane Tech was like a college.
And I had class first floor room 101 first period, class 2 room number 311 on the other side of the.
You were lost.
And I had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get on the Addison bus to go to. I hated it. And Sullivan was a 10-block walk.
Well, you sound like Abe Lincoln. You had to go through all the cold and walking miles and miles to get to school.
Back when I was a kid, we didn't even have legs. We had to pull ourselves through gravel and glass.
Lane Tech.
Yeah.
Addison. I can't help it. Did you go to Riverview when you were growing up?
I think I probably did, but I had to be very young. I think I went with my dad and my mom.
Okay. And no memories?
Not really.
Did you go on the Wild Mouse?
I go on the Mild Mouse every weekend, you know?
What's her name?
Yeah, exactly. I think
Larry the Cheese.
My first amusement park was probably, in my memory, is Kittyland, right?
Kittyland.
Oh, and Santa's Village.
Santa's Village.
50 acres of rides and attractions, one low admission price, worlds of fun at Santa's Village.
Come on out to Santa's Village. Come on out today.
I think Santa's Village is back again, is it not?
I think it's around.
Yeah, I think they refurbished it, or they brought it out of the mothballs or something like that. Kittyland used to be, on the northwest side of the city?
It was
North Avenue, across from Maywood Park.
Okay, that's where it was.
Kittyland Amusement Park at the corner of North and First Avenue, Melrose Park, Illinois.
What was the one that was at Addison and...
That was Riverview.
That was Riverview on Addison.
Yeah, Riverview. Okay, so my memory of Riverview, and I do have you by a couple of years, not much, even though I look better than you.
When you finish your memories of Riverview, could you tell me your memories of the 1914 World Series?
No, I can't. I can't.
You've forgotten. I realize it. Your brain's going. Go ahead.
No matter what age I get, I'll always look better than you. Just remember
listen
that.
to this.
Always.
Stop winking at me.
Well, stop crossing your legs when... never mind. Where are we? Oh, Riverview. Do you remember what was across the street from Riverview? It was a really horrible restaurant.
A whorehouse?
No, it was not a whorehouse. Listen, what am I rubbing off on you?
And
No.
wait, what kind of business plan is that anyway? To open a whorehouse across the street from a child's amusement park?
Why not? Listen, the kids went to one side and the parents went to the other, right? Isn't that how it works?
Here, Johnny.
I'll drop you off at Riverview. We'll catch up with you.
Here, Johnny, he's 8 tickets for the Tilt-A-Whirl. Keep going. We'll be back in 25 minutes.
I'm going on my own Tilt-A-Whirl across the street. No, across the street from Riverview was White Castle.
Oh, yeah.
Blech. Ugh.
Really?
I mean, oh, yuck.
Wait a minute. Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I wouldn't eat White Castle as like, oh, hey, man, let's
For
go.
my last meal, I wouldn't eat White Castle.
But I do.
Are they out of... I hope they can't sue us,
man,
can they?
I get White Castle once in a while.
No chance.
Oh.
What? Where the hamburger hides underneath the pickle?
Let
me out of here.
Some people like pickles.
Nothing tasted better than a White Castle at 2 a.m. in the morning after a long night party.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I've never been that drunk.
Oh, really?
Yes. Well, I must have been. I agreed to do this with you.
Yeah, no kidding. You made your choice. Live with it.
Meanwhile, back to Dick Allen.
No, is that who were we talking about?
Well, listen. We're going to go off on some tangents, and I promised Aldo that we would do this. I just recorded the Grobstein Schuster Zone, award-winning also. Although, when I insult him, he has no insults back for me. So it's almost refreshing that you're able to lob back at me.
Almost.
Major League Penis.
But you have a grabber story, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
This is called cross pollination.
The Les Grobstein, who is a Chicago radio fixture, along with David, they've known each other for years. They do this podcast together here on the
Bears Bar Room.
Les has been in Chicago radio for years. I mean, he started out at Sports Phone. He worked his way up. Now he's been around and done a lot of things.
This is like Ralph Edwards. This is your life.
So a friend of mine, and I'll just leave him nameless for now, unless he wants to name him on the next episode. He's a friend of mine. He's a police officer, and he works overnights. And so the other night, he coordinated a vote. Les was asking for people to call in vote for the bum of the week.
Yes, that's a staple on Les's show Tuesday or Wednesday, I forget which.
It's to vote for the guy who whatever.
Biggest clot of the week in essence.
Right. And so he and several other police officers all called in or texted, I guess, to vote for NASCAR driver Ricky Cho.
Oh, Ricky.
So, because he was, the reason was, he was bumping a guy in the last, what do they call it?
Drafting?
No, what do they call the
Laps?
last? The lap,
Oh,
thank you.
You couldn't think of...
I could think of lap dance.
Well,
but,
see? We will on our...
So the last lap, that was the reason he gave. He was bumping during the last lap and caused somebody to lose the race. And so Les was reading off the votes, and at the end of the process,
Ricky Cho won.
Announces that NASCAR's very own Ricky Cho won Bum of the Week. And he mentioned it 2 or 3 times.
But the problem is...
The Ricky Cho is a police officer who was in on the joke, texting in Ricky Cho is Bum of the Week. Ricky Cho does not drive a race car.
So are you saying that they pulled Les's chain?
That wouldn't be the first time, but I don't want to smarten anybody up. There's been a few others.
Syphilis-infested prick.
Absolutely brilliant, if you ask me. The guy works overnight, so he's got time to dream these things up.
Oh gosh, is this what our fine members of the police force do on their overnight show? They call up and screw around with Grobber.
Those couldn't beat their meat.
Maybe we should have a special down the road. The special Grobstein version of stuff your mom threw out. We'll bring him on, and he'll tell all the stories.
He's a collector
of dust.
Well, definitely that.
Dead bodies.
Yes, I saw. Yeah, what's in your basement, Les?
You don't want to know. Do you remember the scene out of what is it? The Bates Hotel. What's the name of that movie?
Psycho. I couldn't remember Laps. He couldn't remember Psycho. I guess we're even.
All right, we are even. Do you remember the scene where in the rocking chair? Okay,
is Les wearing the same outfit?
Yes, it's Les has got an alter ego. All right, let's get back to sports memorabilia here.
Why?
All right, so we started off with icons. So how many? 5, 6? And we said...
Well, there's levels of it, but I mean...
Is Koufax an icon?
Yeah, he definitely is.
Okay.
But he's on the second tier of icons.
He's on the second tier.
Because he isn't one of the top guys, but he's got such a great market, and that's because of the Jewish community. He's like a hero. And
it's one of my heroes.
And so his stuff always does really well. He's considered an industry icon for his autographs because for a long time he was harder to get a hold of good stuff of his because he wasn't signing autographs. He was notorious for now in the last several years he's reconnected with the Dodgers, and then he signed with Topps to sign baseball cards and stuff like that. And he's coming back on the market and has been for several years. And so the price is kind of just leveled out. But when we're talking icons, we're talking about the ones that are always on top. Muhammad Ali, Mickey Mantle, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Wayne Gretzky. I see those 5 are probably. And then you're underneath, like I said, it's like Koufax, Peyton, Roberto Clemente, maybe Magic and Bird. But Magic and Bird aren't worth as much as the others because
Where's LeBron now?
Well, LeBron is certainly. Let's wait for him to retire before you throw him on the Mount Rushmore. But right now, he's the I don't know if he's the hottest player going in basketball collecting right now, but he's close because he's getting a run for his money right now by Luka Doncic. But that's because he's fresh.
Okay.
Always the new stuff's always going to be. Everybody's got to be the first on their block to get the new stuff. Oh, I've got the Zion Williamson autograph. How much you pay for that? $500. Why?
Yeah, it's a good question. Why?
But I'm saying, listen, this is not a joke. A customer of mine is a big basketball collector, and he does ask me to try and find him stuff from time to time. And right now, we have a card I think it's on eBay, that we put a bid in for him of $1,875 for a Zion Williamson autograph. I don't think he's going to win it at that price, but we put the bid in. So that just goes to show you, and that's a new guy. He's played what? 50 games?
Not even.
Right.
More nonsense.
Oh my God! Why don't you read that, Aldo? Aldo just looked something up.
Oh yeah,
his eyes are better than
mine.
mine.
It's going to get stupid right here. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, the 2018-19 Panini Contenders Luka Doncic Premium Gold card sells on eBay.
Sold or asking?
Asking. $450,000. Oh, by the way, plus $125 for shipping.
Why? First of all, $125 for shipping.
Listen, I'm going to hold tight here. I demand you give it to me for $449,000 and free shipping.
Right. Help me to understand. Come on. How's a stupid card worth $450,000?
It's like any other business. It's supply and demand. Why is one product worth more than another?
I don't care if there's only one of those cards.
You don't understand. That's what makes you the great, go back and forth on the show, is that you don't get the card industry. I've known that about you for years. We've talked about it.
Right. I admit it. I'm fascinated by it.
All I can say is, is that card worth $450,000? No.
Not to you.
No,
but
right.
To somebody.
There you go, and that's where the supply and demand comes in.
Well, first of all,
I'm sure
they didn't get the $450,000.
No, but that's the other thing, too. Now, Aldo, does he have a best offer option?
Yes.
Okay, you got to have a best offer.
All right,
because the best offer,
Yeah, $20.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll bump you.
25.
I'll go at least 25 on it. But I'm just saying, at that price, you got to have an option. Listen, everything I sell across the internet, I have a best offer option. Doesn't mean I'm going to take it.
Right.
But it depends.
You'll listen.
I'll listen. And especially on a level of, I've got it listed for $29.95. Somebody comes and says, I'll give you $25. Say, fine. You're only talking $4. You get rid of the item, and you're moving on to the next. Because we roll through thousands and thousands of items.
In other
so
words,
occasionally you just want to get rid of stock.
In other words, the industry is much like my numerous visits to Tijuana. You can bargain.
Yeah, except for I don't think Topps puts out donkey show cards. I'll look into it. I'm not 1,000% positive on that.
You ever been to Tijuana?
No.
How about Nogales? It's also on the border.
No, I've only been to Mexico once. That was probably 25 years ago, and I was in Cozumel.
Okay, that's a little bit cleaner than the two places I just made mention. Tijuana is Tijuana's a trip, literally.
I've thought about going there before, but I'm a big travel buff. I love to travel. I've got so many places on my list that Tijuana is probably 20th.
Okay. Well, if you're ever in the neighborhood, let's see.
If you're ever in your neighborhood?
If you're ever in San Diego.
If you're ever in San Diego. You're holding shows, are you?
No. If I'm ever in San Diego, I might consider going a little bit further south.
Where do you go? I just go right through the beads and sit down on a beanbag. The show will start shortly.
Didn't you tell me, changing gears again, didn't you tell me when you first came in today that last week was National Clown Week?
I think 2 weeks ago, but
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, apparently there's a day for everything.
Of course there is.
There's a day, a week.
Who's your favorite clown?
Oh, you know who my favorite clown. If you're a Chicago person, if you're listening to this and you live in the Chicago area and you're 9 days older than baseball, then you'll remember Bob Bell as Bozo the Clown.
Bozo's Circus is on the air.
Who's your favorite clown?
Yeah, who's your favorite clown? Bozo! I love Bozo. Everybody loved Bozo. And as an adult, I appreciate Bozo even more because I realized that even though it was a kid's show, he was playing to the adults a lot of the time.
Of course. Are you kidding?
Bob Bell was brilliant. As far as clowns go, listen, my dad was a member of the Circus Fans of America, which is like the biggest club in the world. They have what they call tents, local tents, and those people together get for lunches, and they all go to the circus together, and they got to go backstage at Ringling Brothers and meet everybody, blah blah blah. So my dad I was around clowns my whole life, just either at the circus or in the house. One piece, my dad passed away in 2007. He was it was a tragic banana cream pie in the face trick that went wrong.
Did your mother throw that famous pie at him?
No, he passed in 2007, and he had an extensive circus collection. Speaking of just collecting stuff your mom threw out.
I'm sure that's worth something to somebody.
Yeah, I sold portions of it already. I've kept it, but I've kept a few things. And one of the things I kept, I don't think it's worth very much money, but it is about a 2.5-foot ceramic clown head.
Really?
Yeah, and I've got it. I'll take a picture of it. I'll send it to you. It's sitting in my living room because it is so tragically awesome. You know,
Do you look at that like when you have a girl over or something?
Oh, I make sure he watches us. Yes.
Right.
I named,
like out of Twilight Zone.
I named him Dwight. Dwight because he looks like if Dwight Schrute from The Office put clown makeup on.
All right, so I'm going to test you. Do you remember some of the other clowns that were on Bozo? Sure you do.
I know them all, man. Don't even start with me. Originally there was Sandy the Tramp.
Right.
And then after him, Oliver O. Oliver.
That was Ray Rayner.
And I think the middle O also stood for Oliver. So I'm pretty sure his name is
Ollie O. Oliver.
Yeah,
right.
Oliver O. Oliver. Of course, Cookie. The
Cookie
great
the Clown.
The great Roy Brown.
Right.
And doody-doody-doody-doody-doo.
Who was that?
Marshall Brodina's Wizzo the Wizard.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Remember the Stone of Zanzibar, Bozo.
Was that somebody who else probably did the news at 10 o'clock?
No, Brodin was the magician.
That's right. He
sold his magic kits.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Marshall Brodin, a professional magician. You know, most magic tricks are easy once you know the secret. Now take magic.
All right, well, I met Ringmaster Ned.
Ringmaster Ned. What was it? Ned Locke.
Ned Locke, yes.
And then Fraser Thomas took over for him. Well, see, that was it.
Family Classics.
For me as a kid, Family Classics. Sunday, I was so depressed when I would hear the Family Classics music.
Why?
Because it meant the weekend was over.
Oh.
4:30 in the afternoon. Oh, no. You gotta go to school tomorrow. You know, and then they would piss me off. You know, they'd be like, today on Family Classics, we're going to show Anne of Green Gables. I'm like, no, sink the Bismarck. Show Sink the Bismarck.
I don't care how you do it.
You must sink the Bismarck.
You know, and they would always have some other garbage movie.
I used to love that movie.
Well, all of us did. That was the whole thing. The WGN, the local Chicago television programming, I'm sure was unlike anywhere else in the country. These guys all worked like Ray Rayner had his morning show, and then he'd go on Bozo and be the clown. And Roy Brown was also on Ray Rayner. He was the voice and puppeteer for Cuddly Dudley.
You mean other cities didn't have Chelveston?
Chelveston the Duck. Wow. Yes. And a hungover Ray Rayner taking pieces of paper off.
Garfield Goose?
That was my guy.
How about... No, mine was Romberg Rabbit.
Well, right, that's because he didn't say anything.
That's right.
Yeah, you could emotionally...
That was the original Penn and Teller.
So you could emotionally dominate him. Garfield Goose was my guy, man.
Do you remember some of the cartoons they showed also?
Journey to the Beginning of Time was not a cartoon, but it was like...
it was like an endless
it was like a Canadian
serial.
or French thing they did over teaching us how the world started. Cartoons, though. I mean, what...
Did they have Space Ghost on that one?
Oh, Clutch Cargo.
Clutch Cargo, Spinner and Paddlefoot.
Yes.
Clutch Cargo and his pal Spinner and Paddlefoot.
Oh, yeah. The other one, the updated Clutch Cargo was Space Angel. Remember that one?
Space Angel?
Yeah.
Wasn't there also Diver Dan?
Oh, Diver Dan, yeah.
These were all, for people who have no idea what we're talking about.
Neither do we.
These were like still shots. The worst animation you could possibly imagine.
It wasn't even animation.
And it was... a real person's mouth superimposed over these cartoon characters' mouths talking.
But Diver Dan would be underwater with the old, diving gear and everything. And these fish would go by. And this is before I got stoned. It would have been so much better back if I would have been in my teen years instead of my...
Wait. Not even... Can you imagine if you'd have had the forethought, or you could have taped them, because back on VHS tapes of... H.R. Puffin stuff that you could have rewatched after you were already getting high? Because, at 12 years old, you're just watching H.R. Puffin stuff and Sigmund the Sea Monster.
H.R. Puffin stuff. Who's your friend when things get rough?
At 22, you want to really enjoy the show a lot better. They had a talking flute.
You just reminded me of Beanie and Cecil.
Come on, kids, let's grip our lids. Higher than the moon, 'cause I'll be Beanie and Cecil in a whole half hour. I'll play this cartoon.
Right.
Beatty and Cecil.
I think I might have, didn't one of them wear like a propeller hat?
They did.
I'm pretty sure I had one of those.
Yeah. And then, of course, there was Flipper. God, are we showing our age? Or at least I am. Oh, meanwhile, back to sports memorabilia.
Where we were.
You know what? Hold on. We got off of the beaten path. We were going to National Clown Week. And what about the famous scene from the movie Groove Tube with Coco the Clown? Do you remember that one?
Okay, yeah, I remember it. I mean, I probably saw it when I was a teenager.
Okay.
But it's, you got to look this one up. I think you'll probably find it on YouTube. It's filthy. That's all we'll say. It's filthy.
Doesn't start out, well, you can say it. It doesn't start out that way.
Well,
but
don't give it away. Let people watch it.
Okay, well, actually, I know Aldo will just insert it here. I know that'll happen.
It's make-believe time. That's right. And you know what that means. All of the big people in the room have to leave. That's right. They can't take part in make-believe time. Only the little people. So if you're over 10 years old, we want you to leave the room so that the little people can take part in make-believe time.
Spoiler alert.
Especially if you want to listen to this one. I'll tell you what, it was hysterical. He goes from talking like this to, all right, kids.
Now I have a request here from Dickie Ulanette of Fort Wayne. She asks for page 47 of Fanny Hill by John Cleland. I lay down then upon the couch, and Charles finished undressing himself, revealing to my eyes that column of delight whose impatient gestures signaled the prelude to love's ecstatic union. Urged on by consuming passion, we were quickly joined in soft embrace, his hands exploring the fiery, moist territory whence derived my intoxicating pleasures.
my favorite clowns after Bozo, I mentioned early, Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons, of course. Yeah. Herschel Krostowski is his real name.
Really?
Yes, Jackie Mason played his father, the rabbi, on The Simpsons.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. I love him. A guy named Puddle's Pity Party. You got to look him up. He is a clown who sings. He's fantastic. And then, of course, this is very ancient, and you'd have to go to YouTube for this one. Flunky the Clown from The David Letterman Show.
Flunky, always a pleasure to have you here. Now, for the fun of it, you went into the French Quarter and got yourself a tattoo?
Well, yeah, I wasn't having much luck with women, and, I thought it'd make me look more like a tough guy.
Right. And did that seem to do the trick?
No, I still couldn't get chicks.
Yeah.
It turns out most women think clown makeup looks kind of gross, especially when you sweat.
Yeah.
There's some people who have a phobia of clowns.
My ex did.
Really?
Yeah.
You must have had some kinky sex. What'd you do? Did you dress up as Coco?
Wait a minute. You're accusing me of scaring her?
Yes. Well, actually,
no,
you didn't have to try.
Right, I had enough going on.
There is a phobia of people who have a fear of clowns.
What is it called? We'll find that out.
Clownophobia.
I don't think so. I don't think it's that basic, doctor. We went to a haunted house once, and she's, of course, clinging on to me the whole time, and I could see a little bit ahead, and I saw the next room was like kind of the black light flashing, and you could see clowns in the room. So what I did was we got around the corner, and I just wrapped my arms around the front of her and held her in place.
Oh, so she had to
So the clowns
see it.
during the black light rushed towards her. And just,
and she had a heart attack.
Having a stroke.
She had a heart attack and passed away, and you collected on the life insurance.
And I'm not letting her go. I'm like, no, you're going to live through these clowns. This is going to be fun.
You sadistic bastard, you. I talked to you about earlier in the cast here. I did see this. I found this hard to believe. Hall of Fame baseball cards, they're not signed, obviously. They're just regular cards. I'm going to give you a list of names. The first one you'll say, of course. Harold Baines is now, a Hall of Famer, but you say he's whatever.
Harold Baines might be, he's one of the worst 5 or 6 worst choices in the Hall of Fame.
These are all Hall of Fame cards, non-signatures, under $5. Some of them just $1. Kirby Puckett, Joe Torre, Robin Yount, Johnny Bench. A Johnny Bench card, that's hard to believe. Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench is one of the all-time players.
I'll just cut right to it.
Okay, there's so many.
The reason is the era they played in. Now, Johnny Bench had baseball cards during his playing time up through the 1983 season. That was his last year in the majors. Since then, they still make Johnny Bench cards. There's sets that bring out like retro cards, Hall of Fame cards, insert cards. But even during his career, during 81, 82, 83, those Johnny Bench cards are probably $1, $1.50 because they're in the era of
so many.
Okay, it's just literally what it comes down to. And you mentioned Clemente. His last card is a 1973, and in certain condition, it might only be $5. I think it is more. Off the top of my head, I think it is more, but you can get cards if you just want to collect Hall of Fame players, but you don't want to spend a lot of money. Yeah, they do reprint cards, or they do cards that just came out in the last 10 years, but it's in certain sets. So let me give you an example. Topps puts out their regular Topps set, which is all the current players, but they put out a couple of other sets. One's called like Topps Heritage, where it's based on the design of 50 years ago. And they'll put cards in there of Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Stan Musial, and so on. They are not original cards from when they played. It's a card from 2018. It goes for $1.50 or $2.
Yeah, that I understand. Honestly, I don't remember now, or I should say I don't recall what year these cards were. These look like older cards. I don't think these are reprints from like the last couple of years.
Yeah, but I mean, it just depends on what it is. Like Mickey Mantle's last card is 1969, so his card is worth more because of the era it came out in.
Okay.
Now, in other words, Hank Aaron, his last card is 1974. It's a few years later. There's a little more out there, but still, it's probably a minimum of $10 on Aaron. And as time goes on, it's 1978, 1982, whatever their last couple of year cards are, yes, they're going to be considerably cheaper.
All right, here's a few more names that that I came across. Jim Palmer, card under $5. Jack Morris, these are all Hall of Famers.
Well, Jack Morris is only a Hall of Famer in name, in my opinion. We need to have a Hall of Fame episode.
Okay.
So I can trash all the people in the Hall of Fame who shouldn't be.
Okay, we'll do that. Write that down. Joe Morgan, not a pleasant person, by the way. Here's a 75. I was surprised because last week we talked about who was the baseball player that we played the clip of, who was talking about the Reggie Jackson.
Pat Neshek.
Yeah, he's got a Reggie Jackson,
Gem Mint graded 10.
Yes, whatever it is. Well, it was an all-star card, if I remember. All right, so here's a 75 Reggie Jackson. It's certainly a Hall of Famer. 75 Reggie Jackson card. $2.50 or buy it now. That's $2.50.
One thing I don't know if you're checking on is are you looking at the condition of the card?
No.
Okay.
I mean, how can I?
It could be worth a few more dollars, but again, there's no shortage of these cards.
I guess not. And here's another one that sort of blew me away. An 88 Cal Ripken card. I don't know what was his last year. I have no idea. I can't remember.
Cal was right around 2001.
Okay, so this is an very early card then.
No, it's actually his 7th card.
What do you mean his 7th card?
His first card was 1982.
82?
Yeah, so it's already 7 years into his career.
Okay.
And there's no shortage of them.
I guess
now,
not.
his rookie card, on the other hand, is going to be between, non-graded, we're talking about just your base card, $30 to $80.
Okay. Well, anyway, this one was $5 or buy it now. So just the fact that these guys are Hall of Famers doesn't really mean anything. All right. What kind of items did you bring today?
What I brought was, we were talking about industry icons.
Yes.
And here's one with a couple of industry icons on it. And it is just an autographed picture of Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams together.
Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams. Wow.
Yeah, so their careers...
And those are authenticated autographs?
Yes.
Now, how would somebody go about getting the autographs on that picture? I mean, obviously with a pen.
A million different ways. I mean, you could, at the time, people did get autographs at the ballpark. Catch 'em guy at a restaurant or something. And we talked last episode about there being Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio signed people, but it was a lot of restaurant stuff, menus and napkins, because that's where people would catch them.
Right.
All these guys, after a certain point, going into probably starting in the early 80s, if they were still around, the card shows, the collectible shows started to be a thing. And so what would they do to draw people to the shows? It wasn't just having dealers set up at tables. It was the fact that you could go in and for whatever price they were charging, Stan Musial would be there and Bob Feller would be there and Ted Williams would be there and Joe DiMaggio would be there. And I think even at the time you'd probably buy a DiMaggio autograph for like $20 or something like that. And now, ground floor and DiMaggio's are usually $150 and up.
All right, so what is that signed picture worth?
With the two of them on it, it's somewhere around $500.
Okay. Now, how'd you come across it?
This was a purchase. In my business, I'm the guy who owns the store, so I get most of my stock from people who are divesting themselves of their collections. Somebody passed away, things like that. Just they don't want to do it anymore, and we've mentioned that before. So that's kind of the thing. If you come in call me, come in, email me. I can at least push you in the right direction as far as picking up things like this. And that's where we get most of our stuff because, we've been at it for so long. I still do actively search out certain things, but I would say most of the autographs of guys like that, if they're on a piece like that, which is a nice black and white 8x10 photo that's been framed and matted, that was probably done at a show. Baseballs could have been done at the ballpark. It just really depends. Like the last two Roberto Clemente autographs I sold were both on Wrigley Field scorecards. So somebody got them at the ballpark. So it just depends on the era. Nowadays, you can get players' autographs at shows mostly.
Okay.
The other piece I brought kind of show. It's
is that the city of Chicago? What is that?
I can send you a better picture of this, Aldo. Fully.
What is that?
I brought it kind of for Aldo because we had talked about Puerto Rico. It is a Roberto Clemente beach towel that was purchased in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Where he is akin to
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's God there.
And I saw it, and I bought myself one a couple of years ago. It's a huge towel. I don't know what the measurements are, but it's big. It's a beach towel. It's supposed to be big.
See, I told you, stats and memorabilia and porn.
And I saw it, and I was just immediately, I have to have it. And I brought it home, and it's hanging on the wall.
Well, you must have bought more than one.
Behind, next to my cash register at work. It's very much on display. For that next year, people said, how much for the Clemente towel? Well, it's not for sale. It's mine. And when I went the next year, because I try to go every year, I went to the same place. It was just a little souvenir stand on the side of the road in a very rustic area, not downtown or anything. And I just walked in. I said, hey, I didn't see it hanging up. And I said, in my very poor Spanish, asked if they had any more. And he said, I do, but not here. I could bring them. And the next day he brought 6 or 7 of them, and I bought them all. And I brought them home, and that is the last one I have left.
Reminds me of a story. I went to Jamaica one time, and, in Jamaica, much like I'm sure a lot of other countries of that area of the world, they have a lot of people that are selling T-shirts on the streets, in little huts or whatever. And so, it's, I don't know what the price was, 3 for $10 or whatever it was. And so...
High quality.
Yeah, well, not back then. Anyway, so I had a Bulls T-shirt, a Michael Jordan number 23, like we're looking right over my right shoulder over there, a Michael Jordan Bulls T-shirt, and the guy wanted to buy my shirt, okay? And I,
knowing you and your love of greenbacks.
Well, hold on. I figured this one out because I knew I was coming back there the next year. So I didn't trade in my shirt for those. But what I did is next year I stocked up, and I came with about 4 or 5 of the same comparable shirts, Michael Jordan T-shirts, not autographed. And so I went back to one of the huts, probably wasn't the same one, and so we swapped. So I gave him like 3 of the Michael Jordan shirts, and I got like about 20 or I don't even remember how many. It was a ridiculous amount of shirts because he was going to go and sell the ones I gave him. But I took these, and I had Christmas presents for all my nieces and nephews. It was great.
Oh, you give T-shirts for Christmas presents, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, big spender.
For my nieces and nephews, you get what you get.
Man.
Well, and what do you give? What do you give?
I give
a Mickey Mantle card. What do you give?
I give my heart and soul to my friends.
In other words, you give nothing. Okay, so at least I gave something. All right, what else do you got there?
Well, one of the things.
What?
One of the areas of collecting that is we've touched on sort of is the fact that they make cards of not just sports players.
Right.
And I've got a couple of different instances here.
You have Lost in Space cards?
They do make.
You have a Billy Mummy card?
They do make those, and they made them at the time. I'm not even talking about modern
Angela
stuff.
Cartwright.
Hubba. I don't know. I'm not 85, David. I can't relate to that.
If I am turned on by you, we'll go up to my apartment. Of course, I practice safe sex.
How about Olivia de Havilland?
Yeah, you're still after May. You're after Mae West. Or is it Adam West?
Yeah. I was more of a Robin fan myself.
Holy shrinkage.
Okay, so anyway.
What do you got?
Now, this is... Okay, I'm going to save this one because this is right up your alley.
Okay, it's right up my alley.
These are literally cards from World War II.
World War II?
And
they're... You're going to trade an Eisenhower for something?
They were put out as a set called Uncle Sam. Okay, and what they really are
Yosemite Sam?
propaganda cards.
Okay.
And I brought a few of them just for Aldo to get some pictures of. You know what they came out in packs just like anything else. You know, probably 5 cards for a nickel. They would be all war cards, but really they were propaganda cards because I just brought these. I didn't even bring any of the racist ones.
God, I can imagine those.
Yeah, right. Because
they're probably back in vogue now.
You know, very very anti-Japanese.
That's sort of sick. Okay.
Yeah, and that's just is what you know. So they've been putting out cards that were non-sport. That's what we call it for years. I can go back even further. We go back into the late 1800s.
The late 1800s?
Sure. Well, see, that was, tobacco cards, or sometimes cards were given out with a purchase of something. And they're smaller. That's what they...
Right.
You know, and so what it was before there was, like, major sports, they would put out flags of the world, famous vaudeville actresses, things like that, boats.
Boats?
Like you know...
You mean ships?
War heroes.
Audie Murphy?
You know, stuff on cards. Well, he wasn't in the 1800s.
No, he wasn't.
Now, they did this, and mainly a company named Allen and Ginter put these out.
Okay.
They also did put out baseball player cards. The baseball player cards are worth thousands.
Right.
But that's where the non-sport started. And so as we go through the turn of the century and further on, they continued to produce these cards because, number one, not everybody's a sports collector, but they still want to get your business. Number two, I think there was a lot of little girls who wanted to collect, but they weren't baseball fans, so they produced something for them, and so on. So eventually, now if we move into the 50s, then it starts being movies, television shows into the 60s, and it goes on to this day. To this day, very popular. Star Wars cards, still they keep producing them. They bring out Rick and Morty, the animated series. Boy, catch up with the world, would you?
Rick and Morty? Okay, I'm lost.
It's a famous animated series. They have Rick and Morty cards.
Rick and Morty
cards. They make cards for everything that's popular. The Walking Dead. You know, or a big movie that might come out. So the Marvel movies, they have cards.
Okay.
And so that's continued all this time. A lot of those cards from the 50s and 60s are very valuable, especially if they're in great shape. I think I mentioned to you I had a original Mars Attack set from the 50s, and we sold it for a couple grand. This is an area that is highly unexplored by most people who think they know a little bit about sports. Maybe they don't know it exists. Definitely exists. To which brings me to
the one that's up my alley.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, it's a Star Wars card from the 70s. Okay. Now they made cards.
This is the best one.
1977. Star Wars comes out, right?
Yes.
Now they decide to put out cards for the Star Wars movie.
Right.
Well, they made a mistake.
Ooh.
On one of the cards. And it's what I'm showing you. We talked about error cards earlier, right?
Yes.
Okay. Here's an error.
Are we sure this is an error?
Well,
an intentional one.
Now I want Aldo to take a picture of this. And on the left is the correct card,
which still looks pretty funny, by the way.
But your eye's drawn to it because you know what the problem is.
Correct.
Now. On the left is the real card, not real, but the correct card. On the right is the one where they extended the border a little too much, and it looks like C-3PO has just seen Princess Leia naked. So you concentrate on the
he's one up on R2-D2.
I'm going to use the medical term here, the groinal region.
I'd say
of C-3PO.
If that thing stays the way it is for 4 hours, he better go to the hospital.
And my joints are freezing up.
I mean, this is classic. I just got here. Give me the damn thing. I promise I won't take it home with me. Okay, here we are. This is great. All right, I'm just going to be graphic here. C-3PO or whatever his name is.
He's popping one.
He's got a boner from here to tomorrow.
How dare you?
All right, so what is this card worth?
It's probably in the $40, $50 range.
God, I can imagine.
And the other card is a quarter. There's your difference.
Okay, when this one first came out, I'll bet this was just exploding all over the place, right?
So to speak.
That was a pun that was intended.
If I was standing there with that, I'd be exploding all over the place too. So.
Okay, we don't have any with Yoda, with a boner.
A boner he did not get.
Oh, I like how you just did that in his voice too. Do that again.
Hey, I'm trying here.
Go ahead.
Take off your top for me, you will.
See, we're gonna use this as a promo going forward.
Nice.
Scott Beatty doing Yoda doing porn.
I do a few others. Maybe down the road I'll do my Macho Man Randy.
Are we gonna get any hate mail for doing this? I'm just curious.
Oh, I hope so. If you're not getting hate mail, you're not doing your job.
I got a feeling with our audience, they're gonna love you guys.
Okay. Yeah, this is great stuff. All right, I'm gonna leave you with this. Because it's really hard to top that one. I did a little bit more research, and I came up with some things that were sold over the last week or so. Okay, there was a Michael Jordan jersey, game-worn jersey, 1998. It was autographed, and the late Penny Marshall actually she got it, I guess, in an auction herself. I don't know what she paid for it originally, and I don't know if the family sold it because, unfortunately she's gone now. So this jersey,
that League of Their Own money didn't hold out, huh?
Guess not.
Okay.
Or Laverne and Shirley, $240,000 for a Michael Jordan game-worn jersey. First of all, Penny Marshall, I don't know if you guys know this, but she was a big sports fan, but she was also a huge sports collector. So her estate, when she finally got divvied up, so to speak, apparently she had a lot of stuff, and here's one of those artifacts.
I actually think that item is going to accrue in value.
Because originally she was part of it also?
No, it doesn't hurt. I can give you a real quick, for instance. Years ago, I worked on a deal to sell a set of Mickey Mantle's golf clubs. But they were originally owned from the Mantle estate. David Wells, the Yankee pitcher, got a hold of them.
Oh,
he put them into an auction. This other guy bought them. Then the other guy wanted me to broker a deal for him.
Got to tell you a quick story about David Wells. David Wells was, pretty successful pitcher. He pitched for the Yankees. He was with the White Sox for a while. He's sort of a loose cannon, so to speak, I guess is the best way of describing him. But I'll tell you what, he had hot women around him all the time. And I'm just wondering, I wonder if he was like C-3PO.
So there's still a chance, you're saying?
I don't know. I'm just telling you, David Wells always had hot women around him.
Yeah, go look at a David Wells baseball card. He wasn't exactly Magnum P.I., was he?
No, he was not svelte by any stretch of the imagination. All right, next up here, a John Mcgraw uniform.
Oh, see that?
1913 New York
See,
Giants.
that stuff turns me on. I'll be C-3PO for this.
Okay. I can see. And don't inch any closer, goddammit. How much do you think that sucker was worth? But first of all, I didn't think they even wore uniforms back then. I thought those managers just wore suits.
Oh, no. Connie Mack was famous.
Mack wore suits.
Was famous for wearing the suit.
Right.
No, McGraw wore the uniform.
Okay.
In fact, the last manager to wear a suit was, I believe, Chuck Dressen with the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Not Chuck Tanner?
Not Chuck Tanner. He was too busy going on a smoke run for Dick Allen. How do you like that callback?
Wow, we started off this podcast with Dick Allen. We're almost ending it with Dick Allen.
$85,000.
$234,000.
Wow, I was way short.
Yes.
I
love testing you.
I was just Rodman putting up a 3.
All right, a 1916 Babe Ruth card. It's his rookie card, by the way. Babe Ruth rookie card, and I don't know what this means. It's graded SGC 1.5.
SGC is one of the lower authentication or grading companies. It doesn't draw as much money as the big two. Go ahead, give me a number.
Well, you tell me.
Oh, I want you to tell me.
No, you tell me. I'm putting you on. Don't take my script away from me. 1916 Babe Ruth rookie card graded SGC.
1.5 is a low grade.
Yeah, it is.
It's not like 1 to 10.
Right.
I still got to think that's got to be what, 60,000?
105,000.
Okay, I wasn't too far off.
Okay. And then this last one, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't even know who the F this guy is. An Eddie Plank T206. Who's Eddie Plank?
Eddie Plank is a Hall of Fame pitcher.
For what team?
The Athletics.
The Philadelphia Athletics?
Philadelphia Athletics.
Like turn of the century?
Yeah, he played for Connie Mack. He might have played. Yeah, he played for Mack. Yeah.
God, I'm going to be honest with you. This is one that I honestly didn't know. Eddie Plank. What's T206 mean?
That is the basic numbering of the card. They came in a series. It's tobacco. The T stands for tobacco. 206 is like the designation number. So those are all the cards that came in that series are T206. There's also a T205, which came prior to that, and others have different serial numbers.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so this Eddie Plank person card just sold for how much?
$46,000.
$87,000.
Man, I'm batting on 0. I am BB Richard. Hey, another callback. Yes.
His real name is Lee Beatty. Anyway, but whoever sold this card, smart on their part, because apparently they purchased the card the year before for $70,000. So the card sat in their dresser drawer, sock drawer, or something, and they made $17,000 in 1 year by selling it 1 year later.
I think a lot of these prices rising up right now, or for the same reason cards across the industry are rising up. It is partially due to the pandemic, people getting bored, people wanting to get in.
Well, you said that last week.
Yeah, and I think that so these prices that I've been shouting out, I don't think they were terribly off for what I've been privy to over the last couple of years, but things have taken on a complete life of their own since the pandemic. And you're talking about these cards selling for tens of thousands of dollars, and even new players selling for an incredible amounts. And people are jumping in. Everybody says, yeah, exactly. I'm going to sit this down for a year and I'm going to make $17,000.
Pretty good investment.
But at the same time, what about you putting in, what do we say, Aldo, was the Zion Williamson card, $450,000?
No, that was Luka Doncic.
Oh, Luka Doncic. Now, let's just, I don't wish harm on anybody, but let's just pretend
he gets hurt?
That he gets hurt and has a Derrick Rose career for the rest of the year,
Yeah.
Right? Then what happens to that $400,000 you just put out?
Someone loses money.
Right.
So be it. Ain't my money.
If it was your money, it'd be in your pocket.
That's right.
Sealed with a combination number. This guy's, I'm saying
here
guy,
we go. Hey, he's got his first dollar he ever saved.
No, I don't
come up with something original?
I didn't say you had the first dollar you ever saved. I
Nickel?
think maybe
Quarter?
the fourth. I'll give you some credit. You had to buy food at some point.
That was so bad, I'm not even going to respond to it.
Okay, that's good.
Time for my segment?
Yes, please.
All right. So,
this is the fact finders. I'm sure the next hour will be fact finders.
This is called correctingschuster.com.
No, I don't think so.
Before I get there, I got a buddy who wanted to know what will a autographed Jenna Jameson porn star photograph with her not naked but wearing lingerie, what would that go for? Jenna Jameson, of course, a famous porn star, and also famous because she was a bit of a crossover star. She starred in the Howard Stern movie Private Parts and a few other things.
She was also, wasn't she married to one of the MMA guys?
Tito Ortiz.
Right.
That's right.
Well, this is more your area than mine, David, but
I wish it was my area.
Listen, I can say this. It's probably, if she's done enough, they do like porn shows where the video companies advertise and they bring these girls out to sign autographs and stuff. And even though she's a big star, I probably don't think it's probably a $50 to $100 piece, probably. Because I can tell you recently, this is no joke, I bought a collection, and the guy who I bought the collection from, I bought it from his sister. He passed, and he apparently had a little dirty secret. He had a lot of X-rated material. And one of the things in there was actually a triple panel card from Hustler magazine that was signed by Christy Canyon, Amber Lynn, and somebody else. Barbara Dare, I think?
That last one I don't know, but the other ones are household names.
I'm doing this off names. Yeah, well, the first two are. And I think that went for about $125. So I think you could figure Jenna in that ballpark.
Well, I did take a look at autograph.com, and there is a Jenna Jameson autographed photograph with her wearing lingerie. The bidding starts at $16.
Yeah, so I would say $50 was probably a good call.
Right.
And there are a set of cards, I mean, we kidded around this, not too much, earlier in the podcast, about sets of cards in different industries. I'm sure there's a porn card industry.
100% there is.
Matter of fact, I've seen them in your store, to think of it.
Well, it's from that collection, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah, the video companies would put out sets of cards.
A fear of clowns is called Clownophobia.
Chlorophobia?
Chlorophobia.
Why is it called that?
I have no idea.
Because the original Greek clown, Coro the Great. I don't know.
The symptoms of chlorophobia, suffering from chlorophobia, getting spooked while watching killer clown movies.
What? Well, don't watch killer clown movies if you're afraid of clowns. Oh, I hate clowns. I'm scared to death. Want to watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space? Yes, please.
The Groove Tube movie, the entire movie is available for free on YouTube.
I'm watching it tonight.
It runs for an hour and 12 minutes. It's a 1974 American independent picture, produced and written by Ken Shapiro. And finally, this is for Schuster, Rick and Morty is an adult animated science fiction animated sitcom on the Cartoon Network's late night programming block called Adult Swim.
Oh, actually now I do have some recollection because my daughter watches this on her, I don't know, her iPad or something like that. So I am semi-familiar with it.
Very popular. Everybody is wondering when the fifth season of this thing is going to come out. The internet is all over with rumors as to when the new season is coming out. So it's a very popular show.
I have no interest whatsoever. I watched one episode and couldn't get over the fact that all this guy does is belch. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to YouTube, look up, and just type in like Rick belching. Trust me, it'll put you off your lunch.
All right, so do we squeeze in some memorabilia during all our other nonsense during this podcast?
Who cares?
Hey, we just want to say thank you to everybody who's listened, who's called in, who listens, whatever. And if you do have questions, by the way, you can always pose them on either Scott's Facebook page or mine or the Bears Barroom radio page or our Twitter accounts. You know, again, if you're curious about what something is worth, we can't be exact, of course, but we can at least put you, pun intended, in the ballpark. And if you want Scott's number, because he is an available person.
Oh, I'm available for kids' parties, too.
He is the original Coco the Clown.
Yeah, we are talking about clowns, yeah. You can reach us at 847-647-8311. If I'm not there, leave me a message.
Or Frank will answer.
One of the other guys will pick up the phone and talk to you. They're boring, but hey, you take what you can get. And if you want to reach us via email, which is usually the thing I check the most, is just ausports@aol.com. Yes, it's an old email. Yes, it still works.
It still works. Listen, I still have my original email. Why not? You think I'm going to go tell 10,000 people that I have a new email address? It's
you don't
a pain in the ass.
10,000 people.
I do, actually. They don't. Well, I don't really know them.
Turn that off now. Yeah, that's from the cartoon.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to certainly tune into that as soon as I get home. God, that's stupid.
I'd rather watch baby seals being clubbed.
Let's end it on that happy note. We'll talk to you again soon.